The first thing I'd like to do is introductions so that we can know who's in the room, and if you could introduce who you are, where you're from, what you're working on, or where you work, that would be awesome. And if we could start with City of Los Alamitos, Javier. You have your mute on.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Hi, I'm Javier with the City of Los Alamitos. I also work full-time for the City of Pasadena, and it's my pleasure to contribute to the organization in any way possible.
Great. Welcome. How about Tom Varga?
Good morning, everyone. I'm a career education coach for the BCE department, and I will be here just taking some minutes, excuse me, to relay back to our department. So just think of me as a fly on the wall.
Great. Thanks, Tom. I see Jana from the City of Rancho Cucamonga. Like you're frozen. I'll come back to you, Jana. Something's going on there. Not quite sure. How about Pete Roque? Are you available?
Hey, Tracy. It's Pete.
Hi, Pete.
City of Garden Grove.
How you doing?
Busy, but here.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. We appreciate that.
No problem.
How about we move on to Yvette?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Yvette Portugal, City of Santa Ana, and also a KCO board member.
Hi, Yvette.
Great to be here today.
Yvette and I and Jana, well, a lot of us sit on the KCO board, so welcome. How about Renee Macias?
Yeah, good morning. I'm Renee Macias from the City of Costa Mesa. Just want to thank you for having me, and hopefully be able to get some good input for you guys.
Wonderful. Thank you for being with us. Appreciate that. Are you available, Gabriel?
Yeah. Hi, how's it going? I'm Gabriel from VitalLink. So I'm here just to record the session. So yeah. How's everybody doing this morning?
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, just think of me as the same, fly on the wall. So.
All right. Tom and Gabriel are our flies. Very good. How about you, Angela? Are you available? No on the Angela? Let's see here. And Jana, can you hear us now? Jana?
She put in the chat that she's having audio issues.
Oh, okay. We'll give her a second to work on that. Excuse me. I've got morning allergies. Those Santa Ana winds kicked it up for me this week. So with that being said, as you're aware, Santiago Canyon College does have the Public Works program. And a part of that, which is awesome, is they have the ability to get a degree, an AS degree in code enforcement. They also have a certificate of code enforcement compliance available for students. And they've been working on this. I believe we've already had 1 or 2 graduates who have earned the degree, which is a great success. And we're very proud of that. So we have been getting together, offering the various classes for students to take. And we also work in conjunction with KCO by allowing them to be a third party, Santiago to be a third party provider for our academies. And that has been a successful partnership. So what we wanted to do was to start off with some questions and really want to get your feedback since you are in the industry and knowing and understanding what you would like for Santiago Canyon College to have available for the students and to provide to you. So is that you, Jana?
Yes, I finally made it.
Yay. Real
I
quick,
can finally hear you.
real quick, introduce yourself.
I'm Jenna Cook. I'm currently with the City of Rancho Cucamonga as the Community Improvement Manager. And I am the curriculum development coordinator, chairperson for KCO. So we look at developing the curriculum and working with Santiago on keeping these courses certified and having them improve our program as we help support theirs.
Very good. Thank you. Real quick before I move on, Angela, are you able to hear us and introduce yourself?
I can hear you, and I've just got connected with my phone so that I can actually speak.
And who are you with, Angela?
The City of San Clemente Code Enforcement Park Ranger Division.
Oh, okay, very good. All right, I think we've got the introductions of everybody. Did I miss anybody? No, okay. So as I was saying, we're going to move on to some questions that we would like to get input from each and every one of you. So we'll take turns in doing that. But one of the questions I'm going to read to you, it's a little lengthy, was jurisdictions such as yours have changed ways or practices to meet your customer needs. Cities, counties, school districts, etc., have implemented different procedure practices to handle these new ways. Can someone provide insight on new and best practices in the workforce? So is there anything new that you're doing in the city with regards to code compliance? Anybody?
Tracy, this
Yes.
is Javier. So to understand your question, you're asking if this is something we're incorporating something new, or maybe it's just something that we've already been doing?
Well, it could be a little bit of both. Have you started some new processes, some new procedures? Are you incorporating a different way of doing things that maybe Santiago can help in their teachings going forward?
Absolutely. As I mentioned before, I work for the city of Pasadena full-time, and we've actually been the spearhead for a lot of the COVID-19 related inspections. As you can imagine, a lot of our health inspectors for the city were completely overwhelmed with all the calls for service, the follow-up inspections, and also the back work entailing from complaints. This is uncharted territory for us. So we've had to adjust and, build pretty much a process for this. And I've reached out to other municipalities, and they're also kind of in experiencing the same issues with COVID. They've had to take on that different role, if you would, not as a health inspector, but obviously for the process for evaluating complaints and then processing these complaints through the end.
So what type of, what is the most common complaint and what type of process do you take? Are you administering notices or citations?
So we assist the health department, and when we receive a complaint, we have a proactive and a reactive a list that we go by. So proactive inspections, we're going out to businesses, checking for social distancing policies and procedures that the health department has already established. We're actually educating, checking on rules for seating, for masks and whatnot, and verifying that they're in compliance through the process. And then once they meet the compliance, then we close out our case at that point. A lot of times these are repeat offenders where we're having to do after hours inspections to verify that they're in compliance. So it's very fluid.
So basically what I'm hearing from you is that not only they're addressing a different type of enforcement with regards to the issues at hand, the repeat offenses make it a little more difficult for how to handle each one. And have you guys gotten to a point where you've had to close a business or tried to close a business for that?
Yes, we don't actually close the businesses are on our end. We'll refer them back to the health department. Then they'll have an inspector go out there and they'll do the closing. Unless it's something outrageous that it has to be closed in and there for public safety issues, then we won't close it. the health department has total control over that situation. We have been in situations where, if you can imagine, churches were violating the governor's order. So that was a very precarious situation for us. We've had to do, we had to conduct a lot of follow-up, a lot of surveillance on that type of complaints. So in essence, go ahead.
So what do you think, out of this new process, where do you think we could provide some level of education? What type of education would be helpful to somebody?
So as I understand it, it's very important to understand what the health department's roles are, having a general understanding, obviously building networking and understanding what everyone's obligations and responsibilities are on that. I know the County of Los Angeles does things a little bit different. We're actually very blessed to have our own health department, and we're able to, we've understand the process, assist them in a general role.
Very good. Does anybody else have anything to add on to that particular topic?
Tracy, I would like to add a little bit to that of classes I would like to be seen here. I've been in code enforcement for 20 years. And I think for the new people that are coming into code enforcement, our job has evolved so much that it's not just your regular code enforcement anymore. You need to know a little bit more about zoning, planning, building, definitely writing skills, which there's already writing classes, but perhaps maybe a class in zoning and in planning. The questions are, a lot of people do ask code enforcement those questions. For example, in the city of Santa Ana, we have retail sales in cannabis. And most of us now have to know the zoning that they're allowed, how they actually open. So there's times where we're reading the actual drawings, where before regular code enforcement doesn't really do any of that. Like I said, I've been in the field for 20 years, so I've been fortunate not only to take some of the CASIO, but also the ICC. So being certified in both kind of helps, but I think taking it to the next level now at a college level would look really good as well. And you learn more because some of the professors that the college is hiring are of great caliber. So I think some of those classes would kind of help.
Okay, very good. Anybody else want to add to that particular topic? Anything they would like to see?
Yeah, I wanted to jump on Yvette's comments. Thank you, Yvette. Yeah, I mean, code enforcement now, it's not as it was before. It's not your simple just cut your grass type of thing. It's evolved a lot. Our city, Costa Mesa, I mean, we're dealing with a lot of substandard housing, cannabis. Same thing with the COVID. We've actually worked with other outside agencies, ABC. So a lot of multi-agency efforts to address this COVID situation. But one of the things that I think would be beneficial is the whole court system, because a lot of our cases are ending up in court in litigation. So to have training on those officers to how to litigate in court, dealing with attorneys, because I mean I'm on the phone with attorneys pretty much every day with our cases, so something like that would be interesting.
Those are great points, both of you. Anything else anybody wants to add?
I would like to add one more thing. I found that in the city of San Clemente, we have more and more, not that it's new or anything, but homeless or unsheltered or unhoused situations. That would be something good to at least have some idea, even though a lot of course, is mental health, whether you're homeless or not. That's one of the other things that we deal with. And a second thing would be even a short portion on participating in hearings, like administrative hearings or that type of thing. And just one more thing that in my own personal situation, even though I'm a certified code enforcement officer, I have been in the field one time, and that was just with another officer. I work from the office. I am the point of contact. The officers come to me sometimes with questions regarding codes and things, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But I think also a lot of times the administrative staff is included with that, and it's not often that you see administrative staff in there in the classes, because you know, so many jurisdictions are unaware of how much work some administrative staff is doing. Others don't. Some just mail letters. But in my case, I, you know, determine which complaints are to be open. Complaints don't go to any of our officers. They only come to me first, and then, you know, I open the cases. I assign the cases, and you know, determine if a complaint is really a suspected violation or is just somebody having a bad feeling about something.
Yeah, so those are all very valuable points. I like that. And one of the things that did come up with regards to the mental health, Renee, you know, that is important for us to probably dip into there. They're talking a lot about that with regards to the policing agencies, and we work so closely along the same lines. I think that that would be very advantageous at this point in time. But I also like the zoning and the administrative work is important. You're right. Sometimes you have to have a basic understanding of what's going on to know how to process that complaint, or to know how to guide that person who's calling as to what the processes may be in the future. So thank you for those points. One last call on this. Does anybody else have any suggestions that we should look at? Okay, so let's move on to the next question. And thank you, everybody. That was great input. So the next question I'd like to ask you, it kind of goes along the lines of what you just provided to us, but let's take a look at it. What types of courses should be created by Santiago Canyon College to challenge the students and meet the needs of the employers? So is there anything beyond what has already come up that you think would be advantageous for challenging our students and meeting their needs? You're muted, Javier.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Okay, Tracy. I too am KCO certified, and one of the things that I think I wasn't prepared for working for the city of Pasadena was historic preservation. I think that would probably be something useful, and also tree preservation.
Say that again, the second part?
Tree preservation.
Oh, okay. I don't think everybody works with trees, because I know some fire departments handle some of that too.
Right.
Yeah, we have the same thing in Rancho Cucamonga, tree preservation ordinance, that they have to get a permit to remove our heritage trees, the eucalyptus windrows and such. And the problem with our ordinance is there's no requirement about replacing them. So what do? Go write them a $100 citation? Tree's already gone.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So that would be, you know, so you're talking probably a course that would touch different unique enforcement areas. One of which could be the historic, one could be tree, and maybe we could survey different jurisdictions for other unique type of enforcement areas.
Just having a general understanding would be great.
Hold on.
Javier, what city are you with?
City of Pasadena, ma'am.
Okay, because I'm going to be doing a planning class, and so I'd like a second opinion on tree preservation.
Okay, somebody's got some background noise.
Tracy, I would like to add, I do like, as far as challenging a student, I think definitely a class in the case preparation, like Renee had mentioned, in appeals. Because you, like I said, you go into code enforcement and you're just not prepared to do that. And when you are tasked to do it, unless you're really doing it constantly and you get comfortable with it, you really feel inadequate when you're actually testifying and going to court and doing your reports. So a class like that, I think that you would have a lot of students that would be interested in actually taking it, and they would take home a lot.
So, and I think what I'm hearing from you guys is almost to go down the line of mock trials so that the staff or the student has the opportunity to feel, touch, smell the environment and understanding, not only just getting the paperwork ready, but knowing how to conduct themselves, what to have prepared and going down that road.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that is very key, because I remember the first time I had to do it, I was extremely nervous and, not sure what to do. So that's a good point. Anything else that we should take with regards to being challenging? Nope, everybody's good with that. Well, let me move on to another. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, my mute wasn't working. I think a good report writing skills, because a lot of new people that come in that we've seen, they have the basic skills, but a good teaching of reporting, so that way they know how to write how to narrative a case, to paint the story, because we don't want them to come in and just write like an essay when they have a case. Kind of learning how to write a concise report, because some of these reports, like I said, do end up going into court litigation or the admin hearing, and you want to be able to paint a picture to a judge, so that because he's not there in the forefront, so a good report writing course would be pretty good.
So we do offer that. Matter of fact, I taught that yesterday at Santiago, but probably what I'd like to hear from you, Renee, and maybe we could do this offsite, is what type of details that you feel that we might need to add to that particular report writing course that we already offer that would be advantageous for you. I kind of have a sense of what you're saying, but I still would like to hear from you in particular of where you think we might be falling short so that we can improve upon that. So that would be great. And probably what I'll do is I'll reach out to you via email later, and then we can have an offline discussion regarding that.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? So let me move on to the next question I have here. Santiago Canyon College is looking to promote the code enforcement program in different regions throughout the county and the state. We have online courses to reach a broad range of students. Do you have any recommendations on how the college can advertise this new program? So before I ask for answers, there are some online courses available for the code enforcement program, and then there's some in-house courses that are not available online as of yet. However, the question is, do you have any recommendation on how the college can advertise for this new program? Anybody?
I think just reaching out to the high school vocationals, if there's a law enforcement ROP program, making, students, high school students even aware of it in public service. And any of the, the economic development department, people who are looking for jobs, come in, do some volunteer hours with us and or attend these courses and prepare yourself for this type of a career.
Anybody else have any suggestions? Thank you, Jana.
Yeah, maybe offering some kind of internship, reaching out to local municipalities and say, hey, do you guys have an internship program in code enforcement where students or college students can go out and get some field experience and see what you guys do? So I think something like that would be pretty good.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into our next question. Out of all of you that are here, do any of you currently offer internships?
don't offer internships, but we do offer volunteer hours. And people can do sign removal. They can, we call it field support, that they can go and ride out with one of our officers, you know, and the benefit for us is, you know, the community gets better understanding, but also the officer's not going out and making contact in the field alone. You know, that there's that second person can really change the dynamic and increase safety for the personnel who are out there.
Anybody else have internships available at this point?
City of San Clemente has, the City of San Clemente has a volunteer program, and our volunteer officers actually go out in the field and they take on the smaller, less complicated cases. They do, you know, inoperable vehicles or overgrown vegetation and expired banner or sign permits and those type of things. And we have had those that have gone on to, actually, I've had a few because they come because they're interested in code enforcement. And I have suggested that they attend the classes at Santiago Canyon College, which at least 3 of them have done, and they are all 3, and it's working now as code enforcement officers.
Great.
Tracy, this is
Go ahead.
Tracy, this is Javier. Another idea would be, so PD uses a Explorer program. This is where they take high school students and they expose them to some of the real world training, police training. Is there a possibility of maybe doing a multi-agency Explorer program where we can facilitate training or just awareness in code enforcement for candidates wanting to explore that field?
I think that's a great idea. Sorry. We should look into that. I think what it sounds like is if the college were to try to partner with various jurisdictions and maybe establishing an internship program, some of you would probably be welcoming of that, or your suggestion, a multi-agency Explorer program that we probably have to work on getting something established. But I think you're all open to the idea of helping somebody with regards to getting into the field by providing them at least some volunteer or some programs to get involved with. Does anybody else have anything to add? So those are my formal questions. I want to open it up and give you opportunity to discuss anything else further or provide to us any ideas or suggestions that we haven't talked about yet today.
Does the college have like a video? You know how some agencies have like, come join the police department, you know, see what we do. Is there something like that for code enforcement, that like a visual that maybe students or potential candidates can look into it and kind of grab their attention?
So if I'm understanding you, does the college have some kind of video regarding their program that they offer?
Yeah, so like, is there like one for code enforcement saying, do you know, like, do you want to help your community? Do you want to know, have you looked into code enforcement and, you know, what code enforcement actually does? Because I guess a lot of people don't know what code enforcement does. I get that all the time when I'm on the field. Like, I saw your car out there, you know, it says code enforcement. What do you do? What do you enforce? So.
Let me check in on that. I'm not aware of it. If they have anything specific, I know I've been on their website and they have a lot of things listed, you know, in Word format with regards to their courses and what they're about, but I didn't notice a video, but it's a good idea. So we'll check into that or see if we can't get that done. How about any other ideas or suggestions where you think the college can enhance the programs? No?
Tracy,
Yeah.
Javier again. I think the supervisors and also managers would benefit from continuing education, maybe challenging them at that level.
So we have a supervisor module that it's a 40-hour week that talks about some supervisory type options. But what areas or what topics do you think in a supervisory or manager role would be beneficial to have a course in?
Well, definitely case management, maybe more detail work on that. Definitely
Good.
ethics.
Okay. I've always felt that we should have something called political savvy as well.
Yes.
I think that goes into supervisor course, but it's good for the young ones to have some recognition of that,
Yes.
And then also, I know that there's a lot of work right now with municipalities catching up with technology. Software right now is a big thing. I'm exploring changing our software over in Los Alamitos. We just went through that with the city of Pasadena, and there's a lot of growth, a lot of potential for learning in that field, in that particular area.
Which I have a question. Do any of you have your staff set up with either a laptop, tablet, and portable printer so that they can work from their vehicles?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And how do you feel about that? Do you feel that that is a good way to go with regards to our role out there?
Absolutely. That they can be in the field, do some research, right from the tablet and answer the public's question right there. They can pull up the municipal code right there and say, here it is, this is what I'm trying to tell you, and let me explain how you can comply with this in a real easy, economical way.
So, and I agree with you, Jana. I was interested in the class that I had yesterday. There was about 25 students, and about half of those students actually work in code enforcement. By the way, folks, more and more classrooms are people who don't have code enforcement experience. So there is a huge interest. But out of half of those people, I asked if they were equipped to work out of their vehicles. And there was only one or two. And there was one jurisdiction that discontinued working out of their vehicles, citing a claim that they felt that it, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Citing a jurisdiction cited a claim that it didn't give a good impression on the public to see code enforcement vehicles pulled off to the side for periods of time while they were working on their computers. What is your opinion?
Well, during COVID, I literally had one of, we started a rotation, one person in the office, one person working from home, and one person literally coming in, getting in their car, going in the field, doing inspections all day, and coming back, getting in their car and leaving. So that we had some social isolation and distance between the officers. And the one, she set up a deal that she went to the 99-cent store and got some sort of a hanger that she could hang the iPad over the window of the car and step out of the car and stand at the door and type and do her work while standing outside the car. So she just go to the parks, which, to me, that's good high visibility city personnel in the city parks. It really, helps out our partners and community services to be present in the parks to show city staff is here and we're watching what you're doing. It's just a basic patrol tactic from, law enforcement days. And, but she had this cute little setup that she could stand outside of her car and she would do that. She'd go and do her typing at the park.
Well, I always felt that it's nice, especially on those quick, easy cases to, just get it done, not have to drag all your stuff back to the office. Remember what, the details were to complete the job. So I felt that this is probably more of the way that the code enforcement is probably going to go, hensing your request for more training in software, right? So how about anything else that we can discuss or network amongst ourselves? Wait. No, everybody's good?
Just going back to Javier's point about, for new supervisors, maybe some kind of training on how to deal with like problem employees, team building, coaching skills, similar topics like that, especially now with how to deal with and manage remote employees, because I don't know about other cities, but we have, just like Jenna said, we have employees that work half in the field and half working from home. Our expectation is that, yeah, you're working from home, 8 to 5, but if we need you to come in, at a moment's notice, you're expected to come in. So just how to make sure that, they're staying on top of the workload at home, especially now since we don't know how long this pandemic is going to last. So luckily our staff's been pretty responsive and getting back to the residents and just overall working well from home.
Yeah, those are some good points. Yeah, like I said, they don't give you a handbook of how to be a supervisor typically. So being able to maybe introduce some of the areas that you experience under that role would be advantageous to various people. Anything else that I can present to the college on your behalf?
I think Tracy too, more classes, definitely, more on-site classes. I reached out to a couple students and they're on the waiting list, and I know you've already hit that topic, but definitely more on-site classes. And even maybe possibly a satellite campus for Rancho Santiago, maybe on the north end of the county.
Okay.
And just to share, I know I live in the city of La Mirada. So Rio Hondo College has set up satellite campuses throughout the county on the southeast end. And this is just to it helps alleviate traffic, obviously, and makes it more convenient for students to attend courses.
That's a good point. So, okay, I got that written down. Okay. Anything else that I can add? We still have a half hour, but we don't have to go the full time. But I just want to make sure I hear from all of you. Make sure that I can pass this information back on to the college. I think we've had some great input so far. No? Hey, Renee, can I get an email address from you?
Yeah, sure. It's Renee, RENE, period, Macias, MACIAS, at Costa Mesa CA.gov.
Okay, can you repeat it one more time? RENA?
RENE.
I'm sorry, RENE?
Period, Macias, MACIAS, at Costa Mesa CA.gov.
Okay, got it. What I'll do is I'll send you an email and then you can give me a little more detail on that report writing areas that you would like to see us discuss in the class.
Yeah, sure. I'll look at that email.
Yeah, that'll be helpful. Okay, anything else that anybody would like to provide some input on? All righty. I appreciate your time. I appreciate what you brought up today. There's a lot of very good points. Sergio Verino is the one who runs the program at Santiago College. for code enforcement. So I'm going to type up these notes today and forward them to him. But we also recorded today's event. So he'll get that recording in the next couple of weeks regarding our discussion. But I'll provide this information to him, and he'll have that to introduce to the college, and we'll see if some of it will come forward over the near future. Again, thank you everyone, and have a good rest of your day.